The lunchtime replay of Sales Chatter. This morning we had an awesome show where so many of you were commenting and sharing your wins and losses, and truly touched our hearts in ways you couldn't even imagine, to see everyone how the show is helping people, which is probably the biggest thing. And so now we're going to give you the replay from this morning, y'all. DJ, anything you want to say before we hammer this bad boy out? Or
honestly, just to recap what you said. I mean, thank you to everybody for joining us, for watching us daily, for all the comments, for all the feedback. Maggie said something to me upstairs, and after the show, she said a lot of people, once somebody starts mentioning or commenting, it gives people a lot more comfort to feel freely to share their own comments too. So thank you guys, seriously. But yeah, and then thank you for the reshare from Antoine.
Yes, definitely. Keep it going. Here is the episode from this morning. We hope you enjoy this replay of Sales Chatter live, baby. Wins and losses Friday. DJ, this this week was riddled with wins and riddled with losses. All of them were spectacular. I know Kenneth is going to jump on because he's loving losses these days, man. It's one of those things, brother, where this week. I know. And even just backstage, like this week, the wins and losses, insane.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.
Did you see that? I was able to finish that last bite of my cookie in the background. The thing that's going.
That's awesome. Fast.
I love that. I didn't want to come back going. Right? So you see this? Now we got a war for who says good morning first. Good morning, Lisa. Then we got
Kenneth. Happy Friday.
Morning, Kenneth. Oh, Kenneth is loving the losses, my friend. Loving. Jeff says wins are insane. Jeff's having like a stellar 2022. It's awesome. Wins and losses Friday. As always, everybody, feel free to share your wins and losses.
Please.
One thing that I've noticed, I don't know if y'all saw Andrea Waltz's post this morning, but spectacular, man. Spectacular. And it was all about when we hear no, what our brain tells us. Right. And the reason I brought it up is because it's such a cool transition into losses. Right. Because if we don't have the mentality like y'all have on this show, like Kenneth has, like we have, like Jeff has, like Lisa has, like Hayden has, like Ryan has, like all of these amazing people on the show, they have these theories about losses where, okay, what's the gold nugget? The old Napoleon Hill, the old, 3 feet from gold and all this other stuff. And it took years for me to figure that out. Like I always thought a loss was a loss, man. And like I suck. And there was a point in time in my career where I was losing so bad that I actually thought like, okay,
I thought I was in the wrong thing. I mean, there was times I'm like, am I?
But did you have successes before you started having those losses and had that doubt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I thought it was dumb luck. I thought it was just dumb luck.
Yeah. Oh, okay. See, I never thought that. I just thought I woke up one morning and went, like, I lost all my skills.
Lost all of it. It was just
yeah. Kind of like you're an NHL hockey player. You wake up in the morning, you can't even play AA. You know what I mean? I'm like, how does that happen? How does that even happen? And it was one of those like just.
I think I've seen that in movies. Before. They pull out the power.
Yeah, like like kind of one of those the ones where you switch. Like not the switch because that was something different.
Yes, I know.
But you know what I'm saying? Where you like to
the
change
mom
places.
And daughter switch, and you're like, hold on.
But you know what the funniest one was the Jason Bateman and Ryan Reynolds. I think it was Ryan Reynolds and Jason. That movie. It's not called The Switch. I forget what it's called. But when they say we want each other's lives, oh my god! Like that movie is. I mean, I'm crying just thinking about it. It's so funny. Wow. So Chad says Cookie Monster. I'm like, I'm the worst diabetic on the planet. I love all the crap that shoots my blood sugar through the roof. It's crazy. Antoine, my man, how are you this morning, brother? I hope everything's good, man. So DJ, you started us off. I want to hear all about, and because I'm gonna be hammering back with you with questions, so get ready for it, brother.
I know. I'm ready.
So share some of your wins and losses this week, my man.
All right, so big loss. I will say first, I'll start with the loss because I know Kenneth is liking the losses. Kenneth, this definitely has to do with a huge loss on my end. Sales Chatter Live. I totally let it flop this week. I did not share any post on the Sales Chatter Live page. I screwed up. It was just, this week's been so crazy. This week with the guest and just everything. So I implemented it already. It's the way I implemented it I actually, because of our transition of doing the replays, I'm going to now add that as part of while I'm sitting there in the replays. That's gonna, so when you guys see Sales Chatter Live stuff coming out during the replays, I'm doing my job.
It's DJ behind the curtain.
I'm doing my
behind
job.
the curtain. So you know what I actually should do then? If you're going to do that, what I should actually do is I should start sending you the clips from the daily shows. Yeah. Because we've started to cut them up, and we're starting to do some marketing, y'all.
We're starting.
Better late than never, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's our big failure. But yeah, so that is the loss. The big loss for me was, and actually Mags was like, I'll call out Mags. She called me on it. She's my greatest call out. So she will keep me in check. But she's like, you haven't sent anything out for Sales Chatter. I'm like, oh my goodness, no, I haven't.
I hear you. I wouldn't necessarily call it a loss. I'd call it a learning.
To me, it is, because we're trying to build that so they get off of our, because we're using up, for anybody who doesn't use Restream, we're using up so many channels right now. I'm trying to open up some channels.
Well, I mean, we can't even stream to, we can't even stream to Instagram yet because we have so many channels. Yes. And so, it's already starting, and I could see it going a certain way. So a loss for today for y'all, for me, might be the fact that usually my dogs go out for 30 minutes, 35 minutes before the show, and they sleep during the show. It was 15 minutes. I already got one whining behind me. Remember, DJ? I said, we might have a loss live on the show here. I know. And here's the thing. Let's revert this back to sales for a sec. I know what I have to do. I have to let my dogs out at least 45 minutes before the show. I got tied up. I was having awesome conversations with Kenneth, awesome conversations with Mitch. I was going back and forth. I was reading posts. I was posting on posts. I was liking. I was hitting hating up, and I lost track of time. So again, we know hear her whining in the background. We know what we should do. So what I did is I brought a bunch of treats in, hoping this will calm them down. I brought a whack of them, thinking, okay, if we do a treat every 3 minutes for 30 minutes, and I'm doing all the math. But here's the thing. I know what I have to do. I have to let them out 45 minutes before, bring them in 15 minutes before, get them up into the office so they settle in. I didn't do it, DJ. How many times in our sales life, in our business, do we know what we have to do? But something happens. We don't do it. But we expect different results. Remember I was saying that backstage? I'm like, I can't expect them to sleep.
Yoda. the sales Yoda. That was perfect. Bring in some of these comments.
There we go. So we did Antoine, happy Friday. Jeff says, no means go. As many no's that I've had in my career, I would not be in the industry if I took them to heart. Trust me. There is a blinding light at the end of the tunnel. You're absolutely right. They're absolutely right, man. And, no is just stands for the first part of not yet, just means to try again. Yeah. There's Ryan. That was from Kyle. Kyle, welcome this morning, buddy. There's Ryan. Good morning, boys. It's been a week. Looking forward to ending the week on a good note with you guys. Thanks, brother. Poor doggos. Yeah. And the thing is, you'd think they had this horrible life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Hunter, my man from Tennessee. What's going on, Hunter? Good for you to join us, brother. Kyle Graves, you got that right. But if you narrow your focus, stay in your lane, tap into your knowledge and experience, guess what? Less knows, more goes. And you know what? Guys, I understand this whole, no is not now, no is not forever. No just might be no.
It could
not
be
your customer profile, not somebody you want to work with. Hell, you call somebody up and they go, listen, you stupid effing salesperson, I'm not interested. Do you really want to deal with that person in time of stress? And like we don't have any stress in logistics, right? Like, do you really want to deal with that person at that time? So no means not yet, but no also means hell no, I don't want to work with you, man. And you know,
and I think Jeff touched on a good point in that is really remember your customer profile. If you're not in that lane, remember your non-negotiables. I mean, if they're a dick to begin with, are you a dick to begin with? Well, do you want that? So
you know, go on.
Like that's you know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. I want to hear the end of your thought.
Well, so for me, I mean, if somebody's very snappy, and I feel like it was, again, am I cold calling them in the middle of the day for no reason? I might deserve it. I might deserve a shock, but again, it's the way they do it, what they say, and how they act.
But your job is to cold call in the middle of the day to get new clients. So DJ, here's where I come from that part, right? Well, they're an asshole, but they got business, or they're this, but they got business. And sorry, I'm just dropping treats.
We are shocked.
We get another minute of quiet. Okay, and then you start doing business with them, and then a month of the business, you're like, oh my god, this customer drives me nuts. Well,
exactly.
You're the friggin' idiot that chose to work with them. Come on, man. Let's call a spade a spade. You design your career. End of story.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
We design every part of our lives and our career.
Whoever we let in our circle.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Nerfad, welcome again, brother. Hey, folks, have a happy Friday. And Ryan says, thank you, Dan, for saying that there's a fine line between persistence and being annoying as fuck. I love that. Nerfad says, I knew I was a sales material in high school when girls used to reject me, and I used to say, I'll check back in a couple of weeks to see Nerfad, that's awesome.
Is that a win or a loss for this week? No.
I think that's a win, because for sure. It's on you and who you work with. 100%, brother. And and trust me, guys, and DJ, you've probably been there. All of us have probably been there. We've had the customers where it's like, no, not interested. And you keep following up and then they end up being a customer. Right. And then we have the ones that we keep following up. They end up being a customer, and we wish we never followed up in the end. Right. There's two sides to every like, it's fine as a razor's edge. Right. Lisa says, so you're saying there's a chance?
There's always, if you never give up, there's always a chance.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I courted my wife for 7 months, and I just wouldn't. She often says, you were like belly lint, and she goes, you just wouldn't go away. And I'm like, but I knew in the end, and here's the difference, right? So, and not to get sappy for a minute, but reality, the second I saw my wife, the two people I was with, my two business partners, I was like, I'm going to marry that woman. And I just knew, when like unequivocally, no wavering. I mean, just as clear as day, I knew. I didn't know her. I didn't know her name, nothing. I just said, I'm going to marry. Something inside of me. And, 2 years later, we're married. And it was just that concrete, right? And she was actually with somebody when I first met her. And I was just persistent. And it's not like as if I destroyed that. It just didn't work out. And I ended up being the one that was still there saying hi. So you turn that over to a business function.
Broker, exactly. You're the broker in the back, guys. Hi, remember me? I'm here.
And that's where I believe a no is a not now, right? If things align, you get along in conversation. There's mutual respect. There's all of these characteristics that we define as you're treating me as an equal. I'll follow up for 2 years. Who was it that was on the show that followed up for 7 years? Was it?
Yeah.
Who was it? Oh, it was shit. It was Sam DeFalco.
Yeah,
Sam, when he was saying a guy was following up for 7 years. That's a no, not yet. But after 7 years, the guy's got the entire book of business because he was the one that was there. So, for all you new reps out there, what Jeff and Kyle is saying is so right. But there's another piece of the pie. It's like watching The Secret and thinking you can just sit in your living room and manifest checks to come in the mail. You have to take the action towards it, right? And in this business, it's that, do we connect? Okay, if we connect and you have relationships and your relationships is what is the key to you and your business is what you want. Well, I can't expect my relationship with you to be taken up in a month when you've had a relationship with somebody for 7 years, right? Like, so there's that time period. So
there's got to
let's
be
actually
the transition. But I think Kenneth hits it on the head. Kenneth must have been, if you played football, I know what you're saying, my friend. Yeah, it's if the start is out there, you got to keep your game up and be ready. You never
the
know when
end in
you get
mind.
called
You're
in.
absolutely right, Chad. And I actually really like that analogy. If you're playing second string until the starter gets injured or the starter falters, the starter has a Friday afternoon drop the
Just keep
ball,
putting in the effort.
right?
Just keep
And
putting
then
in the effort. It'll pay off.
and then we come in, we pick up the ball, we pick up the fumble, and we run it to the end zone on a Friday afternoon. That gives us an opportunity to run the ball again. And it's how we run that ball that time that determines if we run the ball again. And it's like, it's kind of like in copywriting, every sentence is meant for you to read the next sentence. And same thing in our business. Every load is meant for you to say, this is why I'm deserving of the next load. Does that make sense, DJ? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Oh, y'all watching, do you agree with that or
Yes.
not?
100%.
Ryan says, it's like you always say, you're one sequence away from changing your life. Forget motivation, focus on discipline. I agree with that, Ryan, because, I mean, when Rene Godefroy told me you're one applied idea away from changing your life completely, I immediately converted it to you're one sales sequence away. And you really are. And that sales sequence will be determining what your future is. And Ryan's right. And the thing with Ryan, I love the way you worded this, because with this, it gives you so much depth to other things. So discipline creates motivation. Because how do we get motivated, stay motivated, be inspired?
Discipline's the only way to stay motivated, I think.
Oh, even better, DJ.
It's literally the only way. It's the only way.
I remember asking one of my mentors saying, I'm in a funk. I just can't get motivated to do things. He goes, take a step towards your goal. What are you talking about? He goes, just take a step towards your goal. Pick up the phone again, as much as you don't want to, pick it up. The second you have a conversation, you're going to be motivated to have the next conversation. And isn't it crazy? We have this motivation, and we just kind of some days, like, call a spade, we fall off a cliff, man. I don't care who we are. I don't care how high performing we are. We wake up, and some days our shit
You're gonna
just
have
ain't
shitty
right.
days.
We're not into it. 100%.
Not every day is perfect.
Yeah. But then you take a step towards your greatness. Whatever that greatness, whatever that vision is for you, you take a step towards it, and it's like, whoa, the end, you just poured, like, you put super octane boost in your engine, and now you're just cranked, man. And you're like,
that's it.
What was that movie with Jason Statham when he used to grab the friggin' thing and he gets shot, right? Yeah, like, that's just the energy level. Not that I am suggesting to anyone to go grab.
It's just like the golf analogy. It's that shot. You just need that one shot that keeps you wanting to go back again.
And it's usually that one coming up 18 after you've had the worst game of your life.
You know it.
Yeah. Learn from the starter's mistakes. The starter's mistakes. Yes. Yeah. And it's Hunter, you're only as good as your last load. That is like a saying that goes back to day one in our industry, right? You can move 100 loads perfect. You screw one up, you're only as good as your last load. Yes. That's a good one, Hunter. I'm glad you brought that up. The discipline creates confidence. Competence loops. Swing singles daily. That is key, right? I love that.
Swing singles daily.
Swing singles daily, man. Hey,
yes,
you know what?
You
gotta take an L to take W's, man. Because here's the thing, right? So, we look at like the go for no concept yesterday. We look at like Gary V. You get up and just keep getting that back. But how would we know a win if we never had a loss? Right? So, like, how would you know a good paycheck if you never had a bad paycheck? How would you know a good day if you've never had a real shit day? Like, right? Like, we need the juxtaposition. Yeah. We really do. Yeah. We need that contrast in our life.
It's our temp check. It's our temp check.
Yeah. And would you agree, DJ, that it might be in how we process it that matters over anything else?
Yes. Perspective is yeah.
Okay. So wins. Talk to me.
Wins. Well, okay. So this week has been.
So hold on. Rewind. Hold on. Is that your only loss for the week? Just that you didn't post on Sales Chatter? Or are you holding back on us?
that was my really big loss. Yeah, no, that was my
Okay.
for me.
Is that
That
your
was
only loss?
well, I mean, I'm sure I had other little losses, but
Then you're
nothing.
not doing hard enough.
Yeah,
If you only have one loss, which is I
like
didn't post on Sales Chatter,
yeah.
we have to have a chat
Listen,
offline because you
that's so
need to
deep to
double and
me.
triple your output.
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, gotta call it.
You're kidding me. This is not fair.
Jeff says, remember, every logistics operations has problems. Yes, it's up to you to uncover the gold mine. It's there. Jeff, we need a boom for that, Jeff. You need to
Yeah.
boom
Can
your
we get a
own
boom?
comment for sure.
Yeah,
Tyler, 17% of AEs don't follow up more than 5 times. That means 83%. I'm 83% different than the average. I like that. And that goes right back. I mean, they say like 83% don't
money.
follow up after 2, 96% don't follow up after the 3rd or 4th, and like 98.9% of sales reps don't connect with a prospect more than 7 times.
It's the FU. It's hiding back there, but it's the FU. Right.
There you go. Yeah.
Either you following up or you're telling them "fuck you," but you're doing
Maybe
something.
that's it. I love when you told me about that. I was like, "Oh, dude, that is sweet." Maggie must have came up with that, but that is sweet.
You know it. So my win for this week, obviously. So I have not had the privilege of doing this crazy stuff like Dan. Thank you for bringing me on this journey, though. But so meeting these amazing authors. So again, I'm not a school nerd, Dan. Even though did, you only went to 9th grade. I did go further. I was not a nerd in any way. I never read books. I was not a book reader. I'm a slow reader. So not until literally about 12 years ago did I actually. I'm so letting out so many bad things right now, but I've never actually read a full book until then. And so,
dude, that is actually normal.
Passing
It's
school,
crazy.
Passing
Most people
school
never
with a
get
lot of
past chapter 1
personality and a lot of memory. Memory, guys. That's the key. But so literally, meeting those authors, meeting Rico, who is like literally, he really has that the two
crazy,
choices has
Mm-hmm.
literally changed my life. Just
wait
that
till you see who we got coming on next month and the month after, buddy.
I know.
We got some heavy hitters and
insane.
life-changing stuff.
And this is so crazy. So yeah, this week was the guest, Rico and Andrea Waltz, and then obviously what happened yesterday. But really was for the show of Rico, I told you about the quotes. And when I seen the one quote I found, which was Carmelo Anthony, and it's every morning you have 2 choices: continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. And I was like, from that moment that I seen that was my big win for this week, was like, okay.
So you know what my question is going to be?
What did I do?
Exactly. Because here's the thing, right? And I think this is going to be a really good exercise for everybody watching, listening. When you listen to that quote, right? I think it hits everybody right in their heart. Because I think we've all lied in bed when we knew we had something to do to get us towards our goal. We must be bold, fierce, and unrelenting in chasing our dreams. But there's days when we want to stay in bed, 1000%. So I love quotes, because quotes really do. I mean, quotes are sometimes 20 years of somebody's experience wrapped into like a small sentence, right?
Yes.
Into 5, 6 words, into 8 words. And they are very powerful if you do something about it, right? Like I remember Wayne Dyer saying, if you ever wake up in the middle of the night, it's the universe, it's spirit saying, wake up, I got an idea for you to create. Yes. And he says, anytime I wake up, I get up and I sit with myself to hear the idea. And his deal was, so again, he hears the idea. His deal was, I get up and I do something about it. So my question to you, in all love, my buddy, okay, is it's a great quote and it's so true. What have you done, or what have you put into practice in your life to live that quote, as opposed to saying it's great?
Yep. So what I added was really just the technique of Grant Cardone. So Grant Cardone teached in one of his videos is taking a book like this. Here, I can show you. This is the one that I used on here. So I have one of these next to my bed, And he says every night before you go to bed and every morning, the first thing you do when you wake up, write down for 2 minutes. So set a clock for 2 minutes and write down everything you want to be, your biggest, craziest goals. So like he writes down, and he gave some of his examples. Wants to be the next Jeff Bezos, wants to be the next Warren Buffett, wants to be, I not wants to be, I am the next, and you're saying that you are. And so, yeah,
so you are statements. I am statements. You are statements.
So
and so what
minutes,
you're doing now is before you go to bed,
there.
you're writing them down. When you wake up in the morning, you're writing them down to kind of, because
just
our brains help us on our goals while we sleep, right? They work out, solve solutions for us. So what you're doing is you're programming yourself before you go to bed, and then you're reprogramming yourself in the morning to make the most out of the day. Yes, just kind of supercharge you and create the habit of generating the success you want.
Brain hack.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's great. I think it's awesome. I have stacks of these beside my bed for the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. Just write it down quick. And I mean, I've woken up some mornings and it
really gets, it gets your brain when you go to sleep. Listen, it gets your,
Donovan, he had tooth pain. He was a big loss for all of us at home. Someone's calling DJ out. Doo-da.
I fight it really well though, right?
Yeah, you actually, I didn't know you had a toothache. Those choppers are just like, they're all over it, man. You know what? So yeah, I like that, brother. I like that. I think, I think
it's really changed a lot. Yeah, it has.
For sure. How's the tooth?
It's there.
It's there. Okay. Got it. Okay. Jeff says, remember every logistics. Oh, we already read that. Sorry, brother. It was just so good. I wanted to read it again. Wow. Continue to sleep with dreams. Continue to chase them. Love it. Yes. 100%, Lisa. Yes. Great minds discuss ideas. Average mind discuss events. Small minds discuss people. I love
that, Thomas.
Whoa, that's powerful, Thomas. Write down goals. 100%. I mean, here's the thing. A goal isn't a goal until it's written down. It's a great idea. Yes. And that's it. And that's concrete. Every single person that deals in the mind will tell you that. Until it's written down, it's a great idea. Nothing else. And until action is applied to it, massive amounts of action, I'm going to say it's still a great idea. Because I can write a goal down. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. Never take action towards it. And that's all it stays is an idea. Right? So, DJ, I am going to drop out here for 1 second and let my dogs out of the room because we're scratching and I'm not dealing with it. So bear with me. I'll leave the show to you, brother.
Nah, no worries. So I cannot share anything right now with you guys, but yes, Lisa, Maggie is keeping me honest. Thank you. If anybody sees that quote, also Kenneth,
we're gonna put that up. We're gonna put that up for sure.
You brought up one of our good one of the books we talk about a lot.
Yeah,
I mean it's.
Napoleon Hill. I mean,
it's really, I mean, you've talked about it on the show, and I think you're on the money. Literally, well, actually, I think it was even behind the scenes when we talked with Rico after. It's so many books come from those. I mean, that book has spurred so many other books and ideas. Like you can always trace the concepts back to Think and Grow Rich. A lot of them.
Well, and amazing. We've had this conversation before. If you look at a book, like just take Think and Grow Rich, Mind is the Master, right? Even The Laws, like those 3 books alone, any book by Dale Carnegie, any book by Napoleon Hill, any book by Ed Foreman, any book by Zig Ziglar, any book by James Allen, like these are real philosophers. Now, James Allen, Napoleon Hill, you look at the Dale Carnegies, they're in that originating space, right? And even Norman Vincent Peale, they're in that originating space. But you take James Allen, for example, Mind is the Master is probably one of the largest books you will ever see in your life. That one book alone will change your life in so many ways. If you apply the information, you look at the great late Bob Proctor. Think and Grow Rich was a book he read probably 20,000 times. Like he had a special case that his original copy, like a leather bound copy from the 1940s, was in. And I remember one day sitting with him and he's showing me, and he has it in this case, and he opens the case, and like pages are falling out, and this is his book. This is like what he studied. And the man changed millions of lives. Incredible what he did. One book, one set of philosophies. But again, it's that action on them. He took those philosophies. He said, that works. I'm going to apply it. How do I apply it? How do I apply it? How do I apply it? How do I create triggers? How do I make it a habit and then move to the next?
I'm so glad you said that too, Dan. Yeah, there's a lot of things, guys. You can hear a lot of great ideas. We're sharing a lot of great strategies, ideas, things, some that have worked for us, some that still work for us, some that don't work for us anymore, but they might work for you. The thing is, what's best for me is not the same that's best for Dan, is not the same that's best for everybody else. So we're trying to share these things, but if you don't really put them into action, we can't.
They just become great quotes.
Yeah, they're just great
right?
ideas.
I mean, think about it. That's all. Yeah. That's what it is, right? Everything is two wolves. Mentally, everything. Whichever you feed is the most wins. Yes, little Matthew McConaughey action.
I'm so glad you shared that. Yes.
Maggie says I'll be here every week for that. So DJ, you've been warned. I love wins and losses too. I really like Thomas. He said self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness and power. Staying untuned onto your heart. Peace, be still. I love that. I love that. You know, so I know we're running out of time.
What was your win? You want to share yours?
So you know what? Win this week, 100% is my special project. Has like catapulted to new heights. Losses this week, I really, really, really have to work on my technobabble for starters. I really, 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 really have to work on throwing my beliefs about training, program, getting with like-minded people, how it can help people. Some people just really aren't ready for a Dan, Tasmanian devil kind of thing. And
they're full cup. If you the full cup idea,
it just overflows sometimes, DJ. And you know what? And here's the thing: for all of you listening out there that I might come across as rah, rah, I apologize. I'm just so passionate on my belief that anyone, I don't care who you are, with the proper training technique, strategy, and belief, you can do everything you want in this industry. You can crush it. The trillions of dollars available to us if we serve at the highest levels. And sometimes I let that get carried away. And I really have to work on it. And it's something I'm trying hard, but sometimes I just, me, DJ, we've been on calls where I'm like, and I get so excited and so passionate. But that passion sometimes is overwhelming for people. And I have to keep that in consideration. And sometimes
just remember, and sometimes maybe you're just not in the right environment, the right circle that's receiving of that.
Mm-hmm. And it's, so all of you out there, if I've ever done it to you, I do sincerely apologize. It comes from a real place of desire to serve. And, this is one thing from some of the great personal development people in the world that I've learned. And sometimes, sometimes those lessons got to like knock us over the head 15, 20, 30 times before we kind of finally tune in. And for all of you out there, that's my big loss. Big wins. Got my second article published this week, which I'm like, what? Super stoked. Got 2 more that I'm writing this weekend. I am starting to love writing for publication. So, and I'll be able to share that in a little bit longer, but just so everybody knows, I got asked to write for a publication. I have to do ghost writing for about 3 months before I but major logistics publication. And people are really starting to see the power from a sales perspective when it comes to TMS, digital brokering, all that kind of stuff, Q1 capacity, all that. And I think it's imperative. I've been fighting for probably close to 3 years now with publications, all of them, saying you have to write more about sales because the front line is sales. We understand there's shit happening at the ports. Come on, get over it already. It's sales. How are the salespeople helping customers mitigate their negative exposure in the market? And we've got to write more about it. We've got to bring people in tune with it. And you know what, DJ? It's like any fight. It takes a while. but it's starting to build up steam. So I appreciate you letting me share that.
Yes,
We've
sir.
got everything is we actually, again, Chris, great comment, my friend. Thomas says, Dan, the Tasmanian devil, laugh out loud. Kenneth says, Dan Deegan meeting Antoine Battle is my selflessness win this week. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, Antoine, I will say, amazing man. And my friend, you are going to crush it. I believe that wholeheartedly. If you're still watching, listening, just know I believe that wholeheartedly. I know, we got strings pulling us on each end here, and it's tough, but it's coming to an end very quickly. Exactly, DJ. Jeff says, nothing wrong with passion, Dan. Keep doing what you do. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
And,
also, hey, I did see Kyle out there. Kyle might be reaching out to you. NDA, that was another win, by the way. NDA for the other deal finally got through, so I could talk about it a little bit. But yeah, so Kyle probably be reaching out to you.
Kyle's a good man. Kyle's a great man. Yeah, so definitely. All right, DJ. Let's. All right. Well, thanks, Antoine. I appreciate it, brother. You know what, man? You're the one that's going to make the difference. Yeah, just tell you that.
It's you. Dan shared it yesterday in our little separate chat, but yes, it's you. It comes down to you guys. So we're here to help, but it comes down to you putting into action and you guys doing it. But thank you all for the amazing week, for joining us every week, morning, daily. Again, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Sales Chatter Live, like and subscribe down below to make sure and catch us. We will be doing the replays if you did not catch this today.
12 and 3 Eastern, y'all. Yes, sir.
3 times a day. Sorry, guys. Listen, it's just a quick notification. We aren't live. Well, we are live, but just very quick. So if you hop on late, you're going to catch the replay of this. We are live in the first few minutes to just kind of maybe touch on some things we didn't talk about today. Or talk about right now during the show. Again, thank you to American Logistics, Centurion Trucking, Daman, you guys over there, awesome. And quote to take us out, Jim Rohn. Had to go Jim Rohn today.
Little JR action.
That's right. You have 2 choices, guys. You can make a living or you can design a life. The choice is yours.
Oh, buddy, that's so in tune. Love that. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Design your life.
To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant,